Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great week. So today I'll talk about a little about like my food journey as a kid, uh, especially as a younger kid. So as I mentioned, I grew up in Poland. So my mom's parents, so my grandparents had a farm. So I used to go there in the summers when I was a kid. So 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. So I would go to the farm, and apparently, according to my older cousin, I was my grandfather's favorite. So I got first dibs on everything, including food, and that was a big deal. And I'll expand on that a little later. Was why it was a big deal. So when I would go to the summers for my grandparents' house, my grandpa would go to the chicken coop, get eggs for everybody to make breakfast, and I was usually the first one to eat, and nobody ate until I got my fill. And my cousin tells a story that as a 5, 6 year old kid, my grandfather would make me like an egg scramble. It's called a jajecznica in Polish, and I would get to eat as much as I want, and they said that I finished 12 eggs as like a 6 year old kid. So that paints a picture of like my relationship with food and how much I could eat. I could definitely eat a lot. Still to this day, even though I've done a lot better with food, I still have days where I throw down and I could eat a whole pizza pie with no problem with with some Zeppelis for dessert. So that's as far as my relationship with food as a kid. I always ate a lot. And the big thing is about like the 12 eggs and why it was such a big deal that I ate all the food. When I was growing up in Poland, it was a communist regime. So what that meant was that the people really didn't have anything, even though it was like the People's Republic of Poland, we had nothing. Everybody was on the same playing field. When we went to a grocery shop, and there were no supermarkets, there were no shelves filled with food. It was literally just bare bones to get by, and also everything was rationed. So what I mean by that is, if we had a family of four, you got 5 pounds of chicken, 3 pounds of beef, and maybe 3 pounds of pork for the month, and that's all you got. And as far as like fruits, we had the regular stone fruit, plums, apples, things like that, berries, pears. We had all that fruit, but we did not have any tropical fruit. So I remember as a kid, being in Poland. My dad's mom was in America, so I remember we used to get packages, and in the packages, it was very simple things that we just didn't have. Sneakers, we didn't have sneakers. Also, things like some tropical citrus fruit. So I remember we used to get oranges in the packages, and that was a huge treat because there were no oranges in Poland to buy. There was literally not much to buy. And one of my funniest memories that I remember is in Poland we had 1.5 flavors of ice cream growing up, and what that is. The one flavor was strawberry, and what I call half a flavor is śmietankowy, and that is literally just cream. So we had strawberry ice cream and cream ice cream, and that's really the only thing that we had. And having strawberry ice cream, that was only a treat. When the strawberries were in season in the summertime. The rest of the year was literally half a flavor of ice cream. Another things I remember in Poland, as far as like just lack of all the food that was available in America once we came, something like Pepsi, a 12-ounce Pepsi we would have maybe once or twice a year, and I would split it with my brother. So that's the type of childhood I was growing up with as far as food goes. So it was extremely peculiar that I was still able to be fat with such a lack of food. So I don't know if it's genetic or whatever it is, but food for me, it definitely sticks to my bones. Whatever I eat definitely sticks to my bones. So I've had to work, pretty diligently to ensure that my transformation journey is going well. So that's just an idea of what like Poland was like. We really had nothing as far as that goes. We had the necessities, housing, things like that, school, healthcare. The basic necessities were there, but we didn't have things like toilet paper. So things like that. But my brother always tells the story how, in Poland we had the newspaper and you'd crumble it up and that was your toilet paper and that's it. So as far as my childhood and food, like I didn't have much food until I was older, but I was still the only fat kid in town. So, fast forward in '89, we came to America, and the biggest thing that we noticed was when we went to the supermarket, jaws on the floor, eyes wide open. And it was like we could buy as much as we want. Like nobody's gonna be like you could only have one bottle of soda. Yeah, so when we came here, my mom got a little crazy with the food, and what I mean by that is like we had Pepsi and Coke stacked in the house, chips and all kinds of snacks because we just really didn't have any of that before. So as you can see, when I came to America, that was like my story with food. Just it was like a love affair with of all the things that were available, and just think about some stories. I remember one summer, I think it was the first summer we were here. My mom, she would go to the supermarket and get like those little Cornish hens, and everybody in the house literally got their own Cornish hen, big side of potatoes, veggies, and my brother and I, we each got a 2 liter bottle of soda. So as you can see, for somebody who is easily puts on weight. Like I can say, I easily put on weight. The food coming to America was like a explosion. It was nuts, and I was eating and everything. And with all that food, my weight was blowing up. And there was never really any talks of me being too big or anything like that. I mean, my grandma used to think, used to say some things about me being too big, and when I would go to her house, she would give me certain healthy food to eat, which I wasn't a fan of, but it was what it is. But as far as my mom or anybody like that, nobody really said anything about food, so I was, constantly eating and. Just eating a lot of food, so all through middle school and high school, a lot of food. And then I used to throw shot put in high school. So I remember I won a state championship in shot put. So I did the field in track and field. I didn't do any track work. Anyway, as a, I think it was my senior year or junior year. I don't recall, but I think, yeah, one of those years, my shot put coach took me to a restaurant for like steak, and he got me a 48-ounce steak, and a side of fries, and then at this place they bring you like a bowl of cherry peppers and a bowl of pickles, right? And then I started eating, and then I ate the bowl of pickles. I ate the bowl of hot cherry peppers. I ate the bread that came, and my coach was like, you gotta save some room. You got a 3-pound steak coming. And I looked at him. I was like, yeah, it ain't that big. So as like a 17-year-old kid, I crushed that steak, ate everything. The only thing that was left was a bone. Ate all the fries, and I got cheesecake. So cheesecake is literally my favorite dessert. So as far as food goes, I love to eat. I love to eat. I love to, I love to prepare the food. I love to eat the food. I love the act of eating. Just everything about food. Just really, I just enjoy it. So that type of combination of all the food you can get and eating a lot of food, like I said, blew my weight up. So that's really how I would say I would have, just the type of relationship with food I had. It was just, definitely wasn't healthy, and there was no limit. It was like I would just eat whatever and whenever, and constantly eating, and everything revolved around food. And then as an adult, I was also drinking, love beer, so beer and food. And I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, and he said nothing puts on weight like alcohol and food, and I could definitely attest to that. I think there was a year I easily put on 50 pounds in 1 year in my mid-20s. So that's as far as like my relationship with food goes and growing up, and just the sheer amount of food that I still consume sometimes, especially on post-training days, is a lot. And so I just have to be mindful of like how often I eat that much food. So usually I focus on eating, I would say, whole food. Really, that's like the biggest change I made, is just really eating the whole food. And what I mean by that, nothing out of boxes. That's one thing that I really changed. couple years ago is just we really stopped eating out of boxes, and we realized how much better we all feel in the house with not eating all the food out of boxes. So. No, but that's just like a quick story of me growing up and just the sheer amount of food I used to eat. And thank you for tuning in. Subscribe if you liked it, or also hit the like button. And talk to you next week. Take care.